Two major cruise lines are ready to set sail in North America this June. That story and more next on the Cruise News Week in Review. Welcome everyone, I'm Mark and you're watching the Cruise News Week in Review, the show where we catch you up on all the happenings in the cruise world each and every week. I was surprised to see that only about 20% of our viewers this past month are subscribed to the channel. So if you love cruising like we do and enjoy the news, vlogs, and cruise entertainment, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us continue to bring you the cruise content that you enjoy. Earlier this week, Royal Caribbean teased that they were going to make an announcement that we had all been waiting for. Well, that news came Wednesday, and it was a bit of a letdown for me. More on that later. But yesterday, they did deliver some big news. And it's definitely the best news for cruising in North America in a long time. Royal Caribbean Group announced that they would relaunch cruise service this June. Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas will be sailing 7-night cruises out of Nassau starting on June 12th. Vicky Freed, Senior Vice President of Sales for Royal Caribbean International, said, "We've been working on the return to service for well over a year for this market. We've been sailing successfully in Singapore and feel very confident about our strong protocols that are in place. All crew and guests over 18 will be required to show proof of vaccination, while those under 18 will need a negative PCR test." But Royal Caribbean wasn't the only one with a big announcement to make, as their sister brand Celebrity Cruises revealed that the Celebrity Millennium will home port in St. Martin starting on June 5th. Passenger requirements are the same as on Royal Caribbean, and the Millennium will be sailing 2 different week-long itineraries, one to the ABC Islands and the other to Tortola, St. Lucia, and Barbados. These cruises go on sale later this week. Last week, we told you that Crystal Cruises would be sailing in the Bahamas this July, and though they're no longer the only ship in the game in North America, cruises on the Crystal Serenity are open for booking right now, and Crystal did recently announce that they too will have a vaccine requirement for guests. It's been 10 years since Royal Caribbean offered regular sailings out of Los Angeles, and though this may not have been the big news that I've been waiting to hear like Royal Caribbean promoted it to be, I am excited to hear that the Navigator of the Seas will call LA home starting in June of 2022. Navigator will sail year-round cruises with destinations like Catalina Island, Ensenada, and Cabo San Lucas, and sailings go on sale the week of March 29th. But of course, it wasn't all good news this week, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings announced that they've canceled all sailings for their brands through June 30th of this year. This includes all global sailings on Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania Cruises, and Regent Seven Seas. Guests who are booked on any affected sailings are being asked to contact their travel advisor or the cruise line directly for more information. Earlier this week, Virgin Voyages became the first major cruise line to announce that they would require all passengers and crew members to be vaccinated before they can go on board their ships. Speaking on Good Morning America, CEO Tom McAlpin said, "Safety and security is our number one priority, and always has been our number one priority. We've heard the president talk about the acceleration of vaccines out there, where by May, all adults could be vaccinated. So we think that that's an important criterion to create a safe environment on our ships. We're going to be requiring all of our sailors and all of our crew to have to be vaccinated before they can get on board the ship. We think that's the right thing to do to create that safe environment." Tomorrow night, Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Odyssey of the Seas, will begin her first sea trials. Now, sea trials are a ship's final milestone prior to delivery. And it's basically like a test drive to test the ship's performance and things like top speed, stopping distance, and maneuvering capabilities. Odyssey is scheduled to be delivered to Royal Caribbean later this month, and then she'll be off to Haifa, Israel for her inaugural sailings. Dream Cruises resumed sailing in Singapore on November 6th of last year, and this week they welcomed their 100,000th passenger since resumption. That lucky passenger, Amin Abdul Rahim, was given a bunch of prizes and upgraded to the Palace Suite with elevated service, comfort, and all-inclusive privileges. Annie Chang, the director of cruise at the Singapore Tourism Board, said, "We are pleased with the efforts made by the cruise lines to ensure continual vigilance and adherence to our health measures on board, so that cruising is as safe as the experiences on land. We will continue to work with the industry to advance the cause for cruise tourism in Singapore and the region." As the UK is set to ease travel restrictions in the coming months, several cruise lines are gearing up for the summer holiday season. Viking announced this week that they will restart limited UK operations in May, offering 3 special sailings along the coast of England. These sailings are only open to UK residents and will be on board the Viking Venus. The 8-day itineraries will depart from Portsmouth on May 22nd, 29th, and June 5th. And MSC's special range of short breaks and week-long cruises around the British Isles will also start in late May. The sailings will depart from MSC's new terminal in Southampton. All guests will be tested prior to embarkation, and non-vaccinated passengers will also be required to provide proof of a negative test within 72 hours prior to departure. Further details regarding these sailings are expected to be released soon, so if you're watching from the UK and are looking for a holiday, stay tuned. P&O will also be cruising from Southampton this summer. The Britannia is set to sail between June and September around the UK coast, and the brand new Iona will start sailing in August. P&O also announced that these sailings would be vaccinated UK guests only, and all guests and crew will be required to follow enhanced health and well-being measures to protect everyone on board. Princess Cruises' all-inclusive summer seacations aboard the Regal Princess and Sky Princess go on sale this week, and will be offering a series of short breaks and week-long cruises from Southampton. The sailings will begin in late July and run through September, and all bookings made by April 30th will be covered by Princess Cruises' Book with Confidence policy. As with their Carnival Corporation sister brand P&O, all guests must be residents of the UK and be vaccinated. And Fred Olsen Cruise Lines will also be cruising around the British Isles for the summer of 2021, with 11 cruises that include departures from Dover and Liverpool, with scenic sailings taking in the best of the British Isles, including the Shetland and Orkney Islands and the Isles of Scilly. And that brings us to our question of the week. With many of these recently announced sailings being cruises to nowhere, that made me think about all the things that I like to do on sea days. So my question to you is this: what is your favorite thing to do on sea days? Leave your comments below and let's get the conversation started. The Alaska Tourism Recovery Act was introduced earlier this month by Alaska Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan as an effort to alleviate the Passenger Vessel Services Act restrictions for cruise ships transporting passengers between Washington and Alaska. As of now, there are no plans to vote on the act, which was not part of the recently passed relief bill, and a vote could be months away. And that might have been what led Holland America Line to make the decision to cancel all June 2021 round-trip sailings to Alaska from Seattle. That includes 6 sailings on the Uradam and Oosterdam. Now, as of now, round-trip sailings from Seattle for July and onward have not been canceled, and Holland America Line is continuing discussions with U.S. and Canadian officials to try and preserve the remaining sailings. According to a recent CNBC report that cited senior administration officials, President Biden may be set to relax some travel restrictions as soon as May. With the vaccination distribution going well, the report states that restrictions on travel with Mexico and Canada could be eased, as well as on travel from the UK, Europe, and Brazil. And with some luck, that could also mean that we could see revisions to the CDC's framework for conditional sailing order. Or, if things go really well, maybe it could disappear entirely if the industry requires passengers to be vaccinated, as many of the lines are starting to do for their sailings. While a few ships could be set to go quickly, most would still need between 60 to 90 days to get crewed up and running once they get the green light. And after all 3 stocks saw gains a week ago, this week things leveled off a bit with not a whole lot of movement. Royal Caribbean ended the week at $90.72, up less than 1%. Carnival Corporation and PLC was the biggest climber this week, up nearly 2%. Close at $28.96 a share. And Norwegian Cruise Line holdings fell to $29.70 a share, a loss of 3.32% for the week. All in all, I think that it was a pretty good week in cruise news with a lot of positive stories and a lot of new cruises being announced. If you got some value out of today's show, please hit that like button, leave a comment, and share the video with your cruising friends so they can stay up to date on the latest cruise news as well. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you next week.